June 18th, 1815. 6 in the morning. Napoleon Bonaparte stands on a ridge above Waterloo and makes a decision that will end his empire. He decides to wait, not because he is afraid, not because he is outnumbered, because the ground is wet. 3 hours later, 5 hours later, he gives the order to attack. By then, it is already too late, and the man who could have saved him is marching in the wrong direction. We believe that great empires fall because of great failures, betrayal, miscalculation, overwhelming force. We don't think about the morning, the specific morning where one decision, made for completely logical reasons, closes a window that will never open again. You have followed correct instructions inside a system that was already failing and never known which of your correct decisions was the one that mattered. That is not a historical phenomenon. That is every organization you have ever worked inside. June 18th, 1815 is not a story about genius failing. It is a story about a system with 3 documented fracture points, and the question AI can actually answer: which one broke it? The night of June 17th, 1815. It rains, not lightly, not briefly. It rains with the specific violence of a Belgian summer storm, turning the fields of Waterloo into something between mud and quicksand. Napoleon knows this matters. Heavy cannon cannot be repositioned in mud. The attack cannot begin until the ground firms. At 6 in the morning, his generals are ready. Wellington's forces are positioned on the ridge. The Prussian army under Blücher is somewhere to the east, retreating, Napoleon believes, too damaged to intervene. Napoleon looks at the ground. Wait, the attack will begin at 11:30, 5.5 hours later than planned. In those 5.5 hours, Blücher's Prussian forces cover the distance to Waterloo. They arrive at 4:30 in the afternoon. At the exact moment, Napoleon's attack is beginning to break Wellington's line. The window closes. France loses. The empire ends. But this is only one fracture point. There is a second one. His name is Emmanuel de Grouchy. Napoleon gives Grouchy a written order: pursue the Prussians, keep them from reaching Waterloo. Grouchy takes 33,000 men and marches east. At 11:30, as Napoleon's attack begins, Grouchy sits down to breakfast in the village of Wellington. He hears cannon fire to the west, toward Waterloo. General Gérard stands up from the table. March toward the guns. Napoleon needs us. Grouchy looks at his written orders. Gentlemen, we follow our orders. He finishes breakfast. He marches east. The Prussians he is pursuing are already marching west, around him, past him, toward Waterloo. On roads his 33,000 men are not blocking. Grouchy never reaches Waterloo. He never fires a shot that matters. He lived until 1847. He spent the rest of his life writing memoirs explaining why he followed his orders. He was correct. The orders were clear. He followed them precisely, and that precision may have ended the French Empire. Historical records tell us what happened. The simulation asks how fragile that outcome really was. We asked AI to change only one thing at a time. Same armies, same commanders, same battlefield. Only one variable changed, nothing else. Here is what happened. Across multiple scenarios, the variations consistently pointed in one direction. Some scenarios diverged. Here is what they showed. No rain on the night of June 17th. Napoleon attacks at 6 a.m. as planned. Everything else remains identical. The simulation shifts. Blücher cannot reach Waterloo before 2 p.m. Napoleon has 8 hours against Wellington alone. Historical records show Wellington's position was already under severe pressure by mid-afternoon, with the delayed attack. With 5 additional hours, the scenarios consistently show a significantly higher probability of French breakthrough before Prussian reinforcement arrives. The scenarios do not agree on who wins, but they agree on something else. This variable moves the timing window dramatically. Leverage, high. Grouchy marches toward the cannon fire at 11:30. Same orders, same army. One decision different. The simulation shifts. 33,000 French troops arrive at the eastern edge of Waterloo between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. at exactly the moment Blücher's advance units begin engaging Napoleon's right flank. In this model, Grouchy's arrival does not guarantee French victory. Wellington's position remains strong, but it neutralizes the Prussian intervention, the variable that historically broke Napoleon's attack. Leverage, very high. Blücher arrives 90 minutes later, not defeated, not redirected, simply slower. Delayed by road conditions, by the weight of his own artillery, by the specific pace of an army that has already fought 2 days earlier. The simulation shifts. Napoleon's Imperial Guard attacks Wellington's center. The line begins to break. Blücher arrives at 7:30 instead of 4:30. Surprisingly, this is where the scenarios diverge most sharply. Some show a French breakthrough, others show Wellington holding. The outcome is genuinely uncertain. But across all scenarios tested, this variable produces the most dramatic shift in the timing window. Leverage, extreme. What the scenarios consistently identify: the rain mattered, Grouchy mattered. But across every controlled variation, the highest sensitivity variable was Blücher's arrival time. Not because the others were irrelevant, but because every other variable ultimately created or destroyed the window for Prussian intervention. In this model, Napoleon did not lose Waterloo because he waited for dry ground. He lost it because the system he was fighting had a variable he had not correctly modeled: how fast a defeated army can choose to stop being defeated. And here is where the simulation stops. It can model arrival times. It can identify the highest sensitivity variable in a documented military system. What it cannot model is Blücher, 72 years old, defeated 2 days earlier, reportedly carried from the battlefield unconscious, who woke up, got back on his horse, and told his army, "We march." That is not a variable, that is a person. Emmanuel de Grouchy. History blamed him. The marshal who didn't march toward the guns. The general whose caution ended an empire. But the stress test reveals something different. Grouchy was not wrong. His orders were clear. His execution was precise. He did exactly what he was told inside a system that had already failed before he sat down to breakfast. He was not a villain. He was something more precise. A man following correct orders inside a system where correct orders had become the wrong decision. He wrote his memoirs for 30 years trying to explain that difference. History never fully forgave him. June 18, 1815, 4:30 p.m. The Prussians arrive. Napoleon's right flank collapses. The Imperial Guard retreats for the first time in history. The French army breaks. June 22nd, Napoleon abdicates for the second and final time. October 1815, St. Helena, a volcanic island 1,200 miles from the nearest continent. He will never leave. The map of Europe is redrawn. The borders that emerge from Waterloo shape the continent for a century. All of it shaped by a morning when the ground was wet and a marshal finished his breakfast. The stress test reveals something military historians have debated for 2 centuries. Waterloo was not decided by genius. It was decided by timing. 3 variables, 3 windows, all of them narrow, all of them dependent on each other. Remove any single variable, and the model shifts, not to certainty, to possibility. That is what the stress test shows. History did not have to go this way, but it went this way because of the specific intersection of weather, written orders, and one old Prussian general who decided that being defeated was not the same as being finished. Every system you operate inside has this architecture: multiple variables, narrow windows, decisions made with incomplete information inside procedures written for a different situation. The question is never, did you follow the correct procedure? The question is, were you watching the window? Because the window does not announce itself. It opens, it closes, and the most consequential decisions in history are often made by people who did not know they were making them. Grouchy heard the cannon. He made his decision. He followed his orders. The window closed. This is History AI. We don't talk about history. We decode it. Right now, somewhere in your organization, there is a Grouchy moment happening. Someone following correct procedure inside a system that has already moved past those procedures. Someone who hears the cannon, the signal that something has changed, and looks down at their written orders. The stress test cannot tell you what the right decision is. It can only tell you which variable has the highest leverage. The rest, like Grouchy at his breakfast table, is entirely human. And in the next episode, a weather forecast, a window of 36 hours, one man who saw it, and one decision that depended entirely on whether anyone believed him.